Well, hello, everybody. It's so good to see you again. I always look forward to sharing our time together, and today is certainly no exception. I, I'd like to continue my thoughts on how to be a good listener and a good supporter in our lives. So many people count on us sometimes to be their sounding board. And what exactly does that mean? I know we mentioned how important awareness was to understand what might be distracting you. And as far as that goes, I think it is also important often that we understand that the timing may be off. And it's quite okay if you've got a lot going on where you are and in your own headspace to say, I really want to be able to focus on our time together. So could we reschedule a more convenient time? Uh, Being present is so important, and this is really the next step when it comes to being a powerful, good, supportive listener. Showing up fully and staying present from the first hello to the final goodbye. Just like being physically fit, focus is a muscle and it needs to be used often because when you use the focus muscle often, it strengthens. If you neglect focusing, it atrophies. And our presence starts with our bodies, uh, our posture, our eye contact, our breathing. Oh, please, no, not yawning. All signal whether you're truly there or not. Being slouched, uh, darting your eyes around, not looking at the person with whom you're supposed to be engaged. Uh, Invite distractions. Sitting upright with a relaxed gaze that's anchored uh, on the person with whom you're having conversation uh, is critical to good communication and to being a good listener. Uh, uh, 10, Take 10 seconds to just reset yourself. Uh, Sit or stand tall with your feet grounded on the floor. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4, and then slowly exhale for a count of 6. You're settling yourself in that process. Soften your shoulders, and if at all possible, bring your eyes to the speaker. We're so lucky when we can meet face to face, or if we can meet face to face through a lot electronics. That's great. A lot of people have things like FaceTime on their phone, or they use apps like Zoom to be able to see each other in real time. And if you don't have that technology, then your ears are become the critical tool that you have to rely on even more when it comes to being a good listener. Uh, that single breath that you take as you get started with a conversation with someone that you're trying to find a way to support in a meaningful fashion cues your whole nervous system to slow down, and it primes your mind to say, listen. Uh, I think it also is helpful to get that attention spotlight turned to the person with whom you're going to be having the conversation. Uh, Even with good posture, minds wander. Uh, Give yourself some type of a clear anchor so your mind knows where to rest its focus. Uh, you can anchor on eyes if that is a possibility for you by keeping just your gaze gently on the speaker's eyes, or if on a virtual call on the camera's lens, and what you see there or whom you see there, uh, you can focus on key words and silently repeat when necessary to yourself a neutral word like listen, focus, each time you feel your attention begins to wander. You can focus on sensations to remind you. Uh, Notice the subtle breathing in and out that you are experiencing while still watching the speaker. This again will slow you down and return your focus to the intended party. Uh, in any conversation, it's always best to pick one anchor and refer to it uh, when distractions arise. It will guide your attention back and uh, just sort of the way like you would guide a small child back to bed at nighttime. You know, you keep uh, going back to that and training yourself to stay focused, to stay engaged, to continue to listen. And then I'd like to share something with you that I think many people struggle with, but it is critical if you want to be a good listener. And surprisingly enough, to listen well, you need to make silence one of your major tools. Many of us, when we're listening, leap in the instant the speaker pauses, worried that the speaker feels awkward. Yet, a brief pause in the conversation invites perhaps deeper sharing and gives you some time to process what the speaker has said to the moment and gives the speaker time to recollect thoughts and decide if there's anything else they would like to share. Uh, if a person, gives you a scenario uh, and then pauses for a moment, instead of jumping in with advice of some kind or a story you may have that you think is similar to theirs, I would suggest to you that you just sit there patiently and pleasantly and you count to yourself 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. That gives the other person a chance to review what they've already said. And then if they see in their mind's eye something that they have not yet shared that they feel is relevant, they can move forward. You know, it might be something like holding space. You're gathering a few moments to think about context and show respect for the speaker's thought process. Another thing that I think that you need to do is to just toss out the window your rehearsal mindset. And very often we do rehearse our replies. Uh, and that really is a focus killer. Uh, when you're rehearsing what you think you're going to respond with as necessary, uh, you're really killing your focus on what the other person is actually saying. Train yourself to defer comment and any rehearsal until the speaker has totally finished what they want to say. Remember, your role here is to be supportive and to listen. You're not trying to fix things. You're just listening and hopefully helping them figure out their next course of action. Um, there's a trick you might even think uh, about using. I call it the write it later, and it has to do with sticky notes, which I love. Uh, and if they come to that point, instead of jumping in with a comment, just imagine, okay, I'll jot that down on a sticky note, and maybe I'll come back to it later after they're finished. That way you'll be sure you don't forget it, because a lot of times that's why you leap up and talk right away is, I want to get this out before I forget what I want to say. Well, just write it on a sticky note. This mental delay can free you up to absorb every nuance of what your speaker is saying in real time, and it lowers the urge to actually interrupt them as they are trying to share their story with you. Um, Another thing is to set some mini checkpoints to keep yourself on track during the sharing time. Uh, Long conversations all offer plenty of exit ramps for attention. And I think it helps to build quick checkpoints to confirm that you're still on the right course with what you think you're hearing uh, from the other people. Uh, Very, very important. Every few minutes, you can ask a clarifying questions uh, that are relevant to what the speaker was talking about to just make sure that you haven't wandered away from what you were supposed to be listening to. Um, there are all kinds of distractions that we have, and this is really important uh, to be able to check on yourself as you are listening to make sure that you truly are listening and have not been distracted and have lost your focus. Uh, there are all kinds of distractions from electronics, from handheld devices. And my best suggestion to you when it comes to that is turn them off. You don't need your phone on when you have dedicated time to talk with someone and try to support them through something. Just turn the dong thing off, or at least close browser tabs so you're not getting notifications from everybody and their son-in-law. Uh, Go ahead, turn them off. The world will not come to an end, I promise, if you turn off your electronics for a few minutes. Even if an urgent alert pops up, you can name it privately and return to the speaker within a second or two. Now, naturally, there are going to be true emergencies that just doesn't apply to, and I know that you know the difference. I have a lot of friends that will send me an urgent alert that is totally not urgent in any matter, shape, or form. Um, and I have learned just to note and contact them after my conversation with the person I'm supporting and listening to has concluded. Uh, there is sort of a fun rule that I use often when talking with someone and trying to be a support partner. And that is something I like to call the pause rule. Uh, and it helps me evaluate uh, whether or not I'm making progress in this area. Because for me, this is a challenging area to hold my tongue, to remain silent. And when you are going through this, write down how, after the call, write down how it felt to remain silent. Did you struggle with it? Were you uncomfortable with it? Did you feel compelled to jump in and offer a solution? Most support calls are not about offering solutions. They are about helping people find what works for them. Uh, you could also note any extra information that the person with whom you were talking shared with you when you remained silent and allowed them the time needed to recollect their thoughts, review what they had already said, and offer more information or uh, questions or concerns. Uh, what did you learn by it? Were they more forthcoming? Did they share more important things? Uh, then I think you need to reflect on whether the pause in the exchange of information made you feel more relaxed or awkward, and why. You know, maybe you need to re-examine your role in what it means to offer support to someone and to understand that you are not here as the designated solution maker. Uh, if you can, maybe throughout this week, find an opportunity to pause after off listening to someone to see if that person will volunteer additional information that will help them in finding their own solutions in dealing with whatever the issue may be. Each deliberate pause is going to s- strengthen for you both your presence and your confidence that silence is an ally. Silence is not an enemy. It's okay to have quiet space for reflection and additional thought. So, I guess what I want to challenge you with a little bit today is uh, to staying present, listening, and realizing that remaining silent can be your very best friend when it comes to supporting someone whose journey um, needs to continue to move forward in the way that will best serve them. So go out there, ears open, lips zipped, and see what you learn and see what happens. I will talk to you later. Bye for now.